So I'm here at the BCA Animal Hospital waiting to interview my mom's friend, which is Cynthia Kidney, and this is her card right here. You know, I'm just probably going to ask her, like, why people should spay and neuter, the health benefits, and, you know, theories about why people don't spay and neuter. So I'm here with Dr. Kinney, and she's an expert. Can you explain exactly what spay and neuter is?
Spay and neuter is where we remove the reproductive organs of an animal so they cannot have any babies. The benefits are population control and prevents breast cancer and testicular cancer, prostate problems, and uterine problems, uterine infections later on in life.
Okay. Can you explain what theories some people have that why don't they spay and neuter? You know?
So the common thing that I hear, a lot of people don't like to do the spay and neuter because they're worried about the animal dying under anesthesia. They're worried about the pain the animal will experience. Those risks are very minimal, and we do give them proper pain control, so the pain issue is not a concern. There are some thought processes that, well, I'm not going to breed my animal, it doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. That is not the case. Even if you're not going to breed them or there's not going to be issues, you know, as far as them getting out later on in life, for their own health, it's better to fix them at some point, younger than older.
Okay. Anything else you want to add about spay and neuter, why people should do it?
I find that a lot of, especially with male dogs, they tend to get out looking for the other females to breed them. And so a lot of the dogs that are hit by cars are unneutered males, and so that's a benefit. A lot of times there may be, with the hormones, there may be some, dominance issues, and so by fixing them you can decrease those dominance issues. A lot of times if we have fighting among dogs and cats in the house, we'll recommend spays and neuters, and that often solves the problem of fighting and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of doing early spay and neuter. You know, it guarantees that they're not going to go into heat or become reproductively mature at 6 months. And so if you do early spay and neuter, you prevent illness, unwanted pregnancies, unwanted injuries. And there's no problem. You can spay and neuter them as early as 8 weeks of age. Mm-hmm. There is a school of thought out there that if you do that early, it will affect their growth. That is not true. Nobody's proven that it's harmful to do early spay and neuter.
And when your patients come in and you offer that spay and neuter, do they take it most of the time?
I would say most of the time. Some people say, well, I'm going to breed, and especially if, they have financial limitations. I'm like, you shouldn't be, taking on more responsibility if you have financial limitations. Some people just say, I'm not going to do it, especially men. They're very averse to having their dog's testicles removed, but it's generally better for them, for their health.
Do you ever see those dogs come back with a problem?
A lot, yeah. So the main complications from not being fixed are, as I discussed, getting out and getting hit by cars because they're out looking to reproduce. But uterine infections, pyometra is a big one. I see it a lot in female dogs, and it can be fatal if it's not treated. And it's expensive to treat. Dogs get testicular cancer. The big thing in boy dogs is they get enlarged prostates, which is very painful and difficult to treat. So yeah, I see it all the time. Breast cancer is a big one. Mammary tumors are related to not being fixed. The estrogen increases the tumor cells in the mammaries, and so I see that a lot. And those can be fatal as well.
How much is spay and neuter cost usually around?
So it depends on, are we just talking dogs and cats or dogs?
Dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats. So it depends. A male cat here with pre-anesthetic blood work, pain meds, the surgery, anesthesia is about $80. Cat spay is about $150. Dogs vary according to their size, but anywhere from a male one being about probably 100 to 150 to a female being up to around 300. But again, that includes the anesthetic, blood work, IV fluids, pain meds, etc.
So
that's
how much?
ballpark here.
So how much would it be when you don't spay and neuter and you get that infection about pyometra and whatever?
Question.
How much more are you gonna start?
So to treat a pyometra, you're probably looking at about $1,500 to $2,000 to treat. That's because you have to do surgery, you have to do aggressive antibiotics, you have to do hospitalization, blood work, monitoring. To treat an enlarged prostate, probably that varies. That can be just from antibiotics and neutering to all the way up to aggressive surgery, and so that can be a few $100s to a couple $1,000s. Mammary tumors or breast cancer that are surgically removed, if we do a full mastectomy, it's probably a couple $1,000s.
Oh, wow. So, people, you can see it's important to spay and neuter early on so you can prevent these. It's better for your pocket, for your wallet, so you don't have to spend so much. Rather, you just spend like $100 right now than spending almost, $2,000 on an infected that could have been prevented. Thank you. Anything else you want to add? Why? Encourage viewers.
I just can't strongly urge you enough to get your animals spayed or neutered. There's always low-cost options out there. You can always call your local veterinarian. If you are willing to put the time in, you can find a low-cost spay or neuter, and it's going to benefit your health and, like she said, your pocketbook. There's no negatives to it, definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Dr. Kinney.
You're welcome.
It was...
So another benefit to, probably the most important benefit in our world today to spaying and neutering your pets is population control. There are millions of animals euthanized or put to sleep every day because they're homeless and they're in the shelters and nobody wants them, and that's a direct result of too many animals. And that leads me to, it's very important that when you consider getting a cat or a dog, that you consider adopting from a shelter or a rescue organization, because those animals will be euthanized in most cases if they're not adopted, versus going and paying $400 to buy a purebred animal. Purebred animals actually have a lot of health problems, so that's a benefit to adopting a mutt from the shelter. Like my dog Murray, he's a rescue. I have 2 other dogs at home that are rescues, and I do kind of my own work here through my job. But again, population control is very key to, which is spay and neuter is the root of population control. And then also, I, again, urge you to adopt from shelters or rescues to prevent unnecessary deaths every day.
How much can you get them at the rescues or shelters?
It varies from like $75 to $150.
But that's everything included, right?
Includes, they're fixed. Their California state law mandates that every animal adopted from a shelter is spayed or neutered. That passed, I think, 3 years ago. They're microchipped and they're vaccinated. So you get all that plus a wonderful animal,
right,
for that small price.
And you don't have to worry about vaccines later. You just have to worry about keeping it current.
Keeping them up. Mm-hmm.
And that's not a lot. That's about $100
Well,
maybe.
microchip average is about $35.
Right.
A spay or neuter, we've already talked about those prices. Vaccines, even if you do a vaccine clinic, can run $30, $40. Right. So, I mean, it's a very good deal. I hate wheeling and dealing dogs and cats, but that's the gist of it. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, so as you can see, people, it's better to adopt rather than get them from puppy mill.
Yeah.